Hi guys, John here, checking in today as happy, excited, and sad. I'm happy and excited because I get to look around at each of the cohorts and the forums and read what you guys are posting, and it's terrific. I am so encouraged about what God is doing in individual lives, in marriages, in house churches. Great stuff going on. This is terrific as we're entering into week 4. I met last week with Walt Hastings, who is helping to coach the African cohort, and he was telling me about one of his coaching calls. And boy, they're a lot more difficult when you have to do them, in countries where the electricity is not so good or the internet connection. It takes a lot more perseverance. But Walt was having a coaching call with one of the church planters in Kenya, and this man said that he's been doing a CO2 with his wife every day, every evening. They do CO2. They check in with each other and they listen to the Lord together. And said it's just been very powerful in their marriage. And this guy said, he said, now I've been teaching the CO2 to the house churches that I planted. Is that okay if I do that? And Walt kind of chuckled and said, well, of course it is. This is great stuff. So lots of stuff to be excited about with the apprenticeship so far, and we're just beginning. We're just into week 4 now. But I'm also checking in as sad because as I go around to the different forums, what I see is that in every forum there are a few people who haven't engaged yet, and I feel sad about that. And this whole last week I've been talking to the Lord about it, sharing my thoughts and feelings, listening to Him, and what I want to share with you today are some things that I feel like that I've heard from the Lord. So I want you to weigh it and you see if you think this is from Him or not. I've been thinking about why is it that some people haven't checked in, and I think in some cases it's just a matter of sort of the technology. How do you do this on the Ning site? How do you do this on Facebook? And just not being totally comfortable with that. And I know that's an issue. And what I want to say is this is so important. I think this is so important that I want to tell you that I am glad. Call me up, email me, and I will walk you through how to do it on your site. You can do that with a cohort coach too. But I'll do that with you every day until you can say, I'm comfortable. I know how to do this now. So let me know how I can help. I'm committed to that. Checking in on your forum is really important. But I think for the majority of people, it's more the issue of busyness. I'm just feeling overwhelmed with life. There's, work has been difficult, and the kids, and school, all my assignments, and I've just been so busy. I haven't been able to do this. And I want to say that I feel so much compassion towards that. I sure know what that's like to just be busy and feel overwhelmed, and I don't know how I'm going to get it all done. And I understand that. Um, but as I've been listening to the Lord, I think that there is, at least in some situations, another issue. It's like busyness, yes, but on a deeper level, I think that there's also spiritual warfare going on. The enemy hates what we're doing in the apprenticeship. This idea of beginning to develop rhythms of listening to my own heart, to the hearts of other people around me, and then to the Lord's heart most of all. Uh, the devil will do anything he can to keep us from that. He hates what it is that we're doing, and so I want you to think about it. I want you to ask the Lord if spiritual warfare is part of what's going on here. Um, when we constructed the apprenticeship, one of the elements that we've included that's really, really important centers around the word daily. Scripture talks about that. Hebrews 3, encourage one another daily. Acts 2, the church met together daily. And so that's a critical element of the apprenticeship. That is, that we are checking in with our CO2 partner daily, that we are checking in with the forum and posting something on the forum every day. We say as close to every day as possible. And I haven't defined that, but in my mind, what that means is we're aiming for 7 days, and if in a week, and if you can do 6, that's good, and 5 is okay. But basically, unless there's been an earthquake like the one in New Zealand, in fact, we ought to be praying for Noah, who's the guy who's doing all the design work on our e-workbook. They've had a terrible earthquake. But if this is an earthquake where you live and the whole house has fallen on your computer, or you're deathly ill in the hospital, daily means daily. And so we did the videos. We tried to explain that, tried to spell that out. This is one of the 6 commitments, and it's critical. And then we had the application, and you filled out the application. And one of the questions is, will you honor these commitments to do these things? And part of that was daily. And you signed that and you sent that in. That was part of the application process. What I'm trying to do right now is not to shame you. That's the last thing in my mind. Please don't take it that way. But I want to take it in the context of 1 Timothy 4, 7, and 8, the passage that we spent time on in the video. And Paul there is using the athletic metaphor. He's saying, discipline yourselves, train yourselves for the purpose of godliness. And so, think of Roger Federer in tennis. When he's preparing to play at Wimbledon, he's practicing daily. There's something important about that. If you're a pianist and you have a concert coming up, you're practicing daily, because that's the only way those rhythms are developed. Our goal is not just that you learn some more information. That's secondary to what the apprenticeship is about. Our goal is that there's some new habits, some new disciplines that are established in your life, and that only happens on a daily basis. So I think the enemy is doing all he can to try to disrupt this process. So where do you go from here? Well, again, I want you to pray about it. I want you to pray about it with your CO2 partner. Listen and say, is spiritual warfare part of what I'm experiencing with the sense of being overwhelmed? And if it is, what do you do with the devil? Well, Scripture's clear. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. And so CO2 partners and cohorts, that's that kind of resisting in prayer, speaking the truth to him is critical. So what I want to ask you to do, even if you haven't been very involved with the apprenticeship so far, you've just been too busy, I want to ask you today to recommit to the commitment that you originally made. I want to call you back to that. Now, I think the devil is going to speak to you and say, listen, you haven't done it for three weeks, and it's too late. It's just too late, so just give it up, just quit. And I want to say that's a lie. Don't listen to that. It's not too late. You can start today. And I want to ask you for a very small way to express this. I want to ask you for 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day, every day for the next week. So 10 minutes, maybe the first 10 minutes of your time on the computer. And what would you do? Work on the learning assignments, and then at least for a couple of minutes, check in with your forum. Write something on your forum. It might be just simply, I'm checking in as scared because I feel overwhelmed, period. That's it. Great. Okay, you've fulfilled your commitment. Or it might be, I watched the video and the coach didn't say anything to me. That's okay. I think in a lot of cases it's going to be a lot more than that. But if that's all it is, that's okay on an everyday kind of basis. That's what I want to call you. Don't be sort of a coach, and I want to call you to that, to renew that commitment. Let me speak to the CO2s. Think about your CO2 partner. I want you to fight for him or her in this regard as well, this whole daily thing. And so I want you to talk about this videotape with your CO2. And then lastly, with your cohort. I want to ask you, if you're watching this and you're in the apprenticeship, I want you to bring this video to your cohort and as a topic of conversation this coming week, to weigh it, Lord, is this what you're saying? And if it is, at least in some cases, I want you to look around your cohort. A lot of the websites have pictures of the people in your cohort. Who are the people that have not engaged very much so far? And how will you fight for them? And not shame them. That's not what this is about. But maybe reach out to them. How can I help? How can I pray for you? What can we do to help you in this journey? So, thanks for listening to this. This is my heart. This is what I think I've heard from the Lord. You guys weigh it in your CO2s, weigh it in your cohorts, see what you think He is saying to you. My heart is that not one person would be left behind, that every person would be able to engage fully on the 6 elements of the apprenticeship. Why? Because I think this is life-changing kinds of stuff. This is kingdom business. And I want you to know, I'm here. Email me anything I can do to help you with this whole daily thing. I'm glad to do that. And I want you to know I'll be praying for you. So thanks for considering this. I am delighted to be on the journey with all of you guys.